Ishu Seychelles, and I had decided to start this self-work type of series. So it will mostly focus onto the day-to-day things that we all need to actually feel better into our lives and also into ourselves, into, well, the improvement that we can do on a daily basis. And I'm also going to use this as a type of journal for me while giving tips, and if my experiences can be in any type of any shape helpful through it. So we're going to start right away with this, and hopefully it will be helpful for some. All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about, and I think that it's best that I talk about it like straight away, because it feels like it is the thing that I have the most things to say about. So this little episode is going to be about how your own choice affects your own life. And by this, I mean when you are into a low point mentally, you have a choice to make. You have the choice to either keep on going into this miserable state, or to actually do the work. And this is the part not everyone is ready for, at least not yet. That's the thing. So many you will encounter so many people that will tell you like, yeah, I tried everything, but nothing is working. But what did they try actually? That is the thing. And most of them will not be able to actually reply to this question, because the real answer is nothing. I just let time try to do something for me. Well, this isn't it. If you want to achieve a better mental state, if you want to feel at least content in your life, then there is a work to do. And this is something that not many people want to hear about, because they're like, oh, you're just saying this because you're on the other side. Or one thing that I saw that was like, oh yeah, okay, is that, oh, I hate when people who had done the work comes and say like, yeah, it just takes this. Well, it indeed just takes this. But the things that nobody told you that it's going to be easy, it's a constant work. It's literally a constant work to decide what you're going to do about yourself. And the thing that most people don't realize is that there is solutions to their problems. For example, someone who's feeling depressed, the solution to it is to actually work on the reasons for it. And how to figure out the reason of why you are feeling depressed is all within yourself. It's all of the things that you do on a daily basis, that you think of on a daily basis, on how you socialize with people, that actually speak a lot of volumes about what it is that you need to work on. For example, if you I'm going to take the thing that is most known by people is the syndrome or the behavior of people pleasing. Okay, being a people pleaser is something that most people have. And why they have this is because they lack self-esteem, self-value, self-worth. That's all. Literally, they just lack self-concepts. And self-concepts englobe a whole lot of things. But those things, we are actually born with them. But life, I wouldn't say life, our interactions throughout our lives just lowered everything. For example, when you are a kid, when I say a kid, I mean a baby to a toddler, until the moment you start to socialize with kindergarten. From that moment, you actually do not have a sense of your body, in the way of like, you're not going to feel like, oh, I'm overweight, oh, I'm too skinny, oh, my nose is like this, my mouth is like this, my hips are like this. Like, you just don't care at that age about your physical appearance. But then you go into society, so you're going to like socialize with other children, and this is when those other children are going to start to pick on you. Oh, you're like this, you're like that, you do this, you do that, it's bad, it's wrong, etc. As simple as that. And this lower the level of confidence that you have into you. It lower the self-esteem in you. It lower the self-value in you, because you are still a kid with a kid mindset, and nobody is telling you how to actually keep on raising those things, like the self-concepts, how to keep those self-concepts. So because of that, throughout your life, you are going to hear those things. And even if you were too young to remember, there is things that you will encounter again throughout your life. And it will remind you unconsciously about it, because your body has already assimilated the feelings that it brings to you. So the feeling is going to feel like home in some way. It's in the way of like, it's not going to be a foreign feeling of like, yeah, it's the first time type of thing. No, it's going to be something that has already been integrated by your body. And because of this, you navigate through life and you don't really have the direction to actually know that, oh, okay, so you told me this, it makes me feel like this, and I have this response of it, so it means this. No, it comes with research. Everything is a constant research, because there is an unlimited amount of resource when it comes to knowledge. And throughout our entire life, until our very last breath, we will keep on learning something new, like always. That's the thing. And when it comes to all of these things that makes us depressed, is exactly the same thing. We have to learn about it. We have to learn about the source of it. And if there is things that has to do with unresolved past trauma, then we don't even need to like go left and right. Just know that it has to do with that. Like, that's all. And from that, there is multiple branches. There is processing what happened, starting to accept yourself, the forgiveness of your own self, rediscovering who you are, and I can keep on going on, because in trauma, in just one single trauma, there is multiple things that needs to be worked on. And when it comes to trauma, it is not something that is, oh, snap out of it, move on, it happened a long time ago, or oh yeah, just forgive the person because they had already moved on. It's absolutely not that. It's definitely not that. If it was that easy, then trauma wouldn't even be a thing that affect people on their daily lives, no matter how long it had been. No, it's like a whole work of the self, because that is the case. It's the whole work of the self, because when trauma happened, you basically have to give your own self the closure needed. So like, if you had like any questions, or like you would want to say some stuff to the person or whatsoever, you cannot do that. And even if you can, it won't change the fact that you need to do the self work, the self rediscovery of what the trauma had bring to you on the level of like who you had become after it. So once you identify all of these things, you can indeed work towards not feeling depressed anymore. And this is something that is definitely not going to be an easy way, nor an easy path. It's going to have ups and downs. You're going to try one method that you had learned, because you have to make the research for it. Because when you start this journey, you just basically are a beginner. And what beginners do, they learn. Just like you learn how to write, how to speak, and I can keep on going on. Like, this is exactly the same. You are a beginner, so you need the resources to know which direction you should go, what actually can help you from what cannot. Because what is helping someone doesn't equal that it will work for you. We are all different beings on earth. Like, what is helping me doesn't mean that it's going to help you. So this is why you need to make your own research. You need to try so many different ways for quite some times in order to know if this way is effective to you or not. And if it is, if it isn't, you move on to another method, and again and again and again, until you finally find the right one. And it doesn't matter if it is something that comes from online or if it is something that you create yourself, because it is something that will bring you peace, that will bring you closer to that mental liberation. Because you cannot expect to actually feel better if all that you do is staying in bed and just reminiscing about everything and being like, oh, why this, why that, why life? Because reality of thing is, it is not others' fault. It is not life's fault, but your own, because you are the only one who is keeping on staying into that state. The persons that had hurting you, they had already moved on from it because they weren't the one being hurt by it. But what it means by all of this is that you are the only one who are still giving them the control over your mental. You are still giving the person control over your mental, and this is something that shouldn't be done, because you have to take back that control. You have to give back to yourself the control that you are giving to that person, because they hurted you, but you are the only one that chooses to actually keep on feeding into it. And because of that, it is self-sabotaging your own self to actually do better in life, to actually mentally do better, to wake up every day feeling normal or content or whatever it is. But this path of healing, this path of the self journey discovery and of trying as much as you can is more than rewarding, because after that you have the needed tools to navigate throughout life better and to navigate with other human beings better. Because the more you work on yourself, the more you can actually approach life difficulties in a far better mindset. You won't feel like, oh, this is happening to me. You will feel like, okay, so I've been able to went through this. Like, yeah, it's going to suck to do it another time, like older, going up and all, but I know I can survive this. And I know I can survive all of the other things, because even if this is hurting, well, I owe it to myself to feel back the same exact feeling that I felt when I started to feel better about myself. So everything starts with your own mindset, and then the actions that you're going to take regarding it. And this is why I do not believe those who say it will never get better, I will never get this, because this is exactly what you tell to yourself, but this isn't the reality of things. And it doesn't matter if you think that is the case, because it can take you an hour, a week, a month, a year, 10 years, and so on to be ready. But at some point you will. It is all a question of you either shake yourself up and you show up every single day by forcing yourself, because nobody wants to do that. We all start all of this by forcing ourselves, because sometimes we just like start one day and the other day we're just like, whatever. But no, we keep on showing up. That's the only thing that you have to do. Keep on showing up for yourself and for what you want your future to be. That is the only thing that you are being required to. It's not going to be easy, but the end result of it is going to be more than worth it. because after all, it is more comfortable to stay into our misery because it is something that we know for facts and for sure. But when it comes to like doing the work and going for something that we are not aware of, the uncertainty, then it actually feels more scary. But what's more scary? Spending a life of misery or actually starting to live the life you want to?